intent on the suspect's part to kill this officer. He shot at him 10 times. The responding officers, as you'll see, fired over 30 times.
Officer Philip Lippy was struck in the elbow and twice in the chest. His body armor and body camera protecting him from what could have been a fatal blow.
These officers were specifically deployed to that area to suppress crime based on violence that we had seen. So, yeah, the thing that goes through my mind is, nobody wants to have to make that call to say that your loved one has been killed in the line of duty. Nobody wants to have to do that.
That was Mallory Safaste reporting. This is what Officer Lipp's body camera looks like after the shooting. It was too damaged to recover any video from. Lipp is recovering and doing well. Both officers involved will stay on administrative leave until they are cleared to return.
6:05 right now. Howard County is moving forward with that multi-million-dollar plan designed to prevent more devastating flash floods in Old Ellicott City.
Yes, that includes tearing down 10 buildings along Lower Main Street. WMAR 2 News' Megan Knight is live there this morning for us. And Megan, this vote was not a unanimous one.
No, it wasn't, Ashley. It was pretty close, actually. The final vote was 3-2. There were a couple of amendments to this $50 million project also put out for vote last night. They did not pass. One of those amendments was to look at some other options to ease the floodwaters like tunnel boring. But the plan that did pass will now allow the county to go ahead and purchase 10 buildings on the lower end of Main Street, which they want to remove. And then they would create a river walk to try to ease floodwaters. The idea with this is to both reduce the speed at which the water travels down Main Street and also the height of the water from 12 to 15 feet down to 4 to 6 feet. Preservation Maryland has been very vocal about its concerns with this plan, especially knocking down those buildings, but they don't see this as a done deal.
This is far from over. We've been in existence since 1931 and have cared about Ellicott City since the beginning. We'll continue to care about them.
And Preservation Maryland says it's going to be releasing its own engineering study over the next couple of days that looks into those other options like tunnel boring. There's no timeline yet on when construction would get started to make that river walk. We're live in Old Ellicott City. I'm Megan Knight, WMAR 2 News.
All right, Megan, thank you. It is 6:06. A Baltimore City landmark is getting a facelift.
Big facelift. The Cross Street Market's been a fixture in Federal Hill nearly 175 years. Now we have WMAR 2 News' Mark Roper joining us live from Federal Hill. So, Mark, what does the future look like for Cross Street Market?
Good morning. With talk about whether the Cross Street Market would be redeveloped or replaced by new homes or bars, the future of the market had been in question in recent years. But today, we learn a little bit more about its fate. Renovations at the market began a few years ago, but hit a few stumbling blocks along the way between financial difficulties and a concern by vendors about closing the market to renovate it. Many tenants have been anxiously awaiting the project's completion. Well, the wait is almost over. This morning, developers will announce a new vendor lineup, along with a plan to finish the market's makeover by next spring. Once the work is complete, we can expect to see 30 new merchants, new public restrooms, new windows and doors, along with an updated facade. And the developers are going to give us a taste of those new vendors and take us on a hard hat tour of all the work that's been going on later this morning. We are live in Fed Hill. Mark Roper, WMAR 2 News.
All right, Mark, thank you. 6:08 on your Tuesday, a big endorsement in Maryland's gubernatorial race.
Former President Barack Obama has announced that he will be supporting the Democrat Ben Jealous in that race. That announcement was part of former president's second wave of midterm endorsements, backing 260 candidates across the country. And besides supporting Ben Jealous and his running mate, Susie Turnbull, Obama backed two other Maryland Democrats, the House Speaker Michael Bush and Courtney Watson, who is in the running now for House of Delegates District 9B seat, which covers a portion of Howard County. In the governor's race, Ben Jealous' competition also picking up some endorsements. The Prince George's County Professional Firefighters and Paramedics Association, IAFF Local 1619, has announced that its members will be backing the current governor, Larry Hogan.
The Baltimore County executive race is another one that we are keeping a close eye on. In the primaries, less than 1,000 votes separated the top three running for the Democratic nomination. Today, Democrat John Olszewski and Republican Al Redmert Jr. are attending a candidate forum. They'll meet with voters and speak about where they stand on the big issues. The forum is being held at the Sheraton Baltimore North Hotel on Delaney Valley Road at 8 o'clock this morning. You need to register and buy a ticket to attend. It is 6:09, time for another check of our forecast with Chief Meteorologist Lynette Charles.
All right, so we're going to start off on a nice note this morning. Just a bit humid out there. Temperature change coming in about 5 degrees warmer when compared to yesterday at this time around Thurmont, about 3 degrees warmer at the Inner Harbor. So temperatures this morning are in the mid-60s at the Inner Harbor, more of the same around Thurmont this morning, at 67 in Stevensville, and Annapolis is coming at 69. We also do have a dew point change, so we have more moisture in the atmosphere than we did yesterday. So as we continue through today, these dew points are going to continue to go up. Right now we're looking at numbers in the mid-60s, and we are feeling the humidity as you step out the door this morning. Now let's get a check of the traffic with Lauren.
Thanks, Lynette. I'm following a crash on 295. This is northbound prior to 895. Traffic is jammed back to 695. The left lane is blocked. The average speed 34 miles per hour. Here's a look at 95. It's at a standstill right now here at O'Donnell Street. This is all due to an accident northbound at Boston Street that has been moved to the right shoulder. You can take 895 to avoid delays. 895 is in the green right now. The JFX also clear. If you're traveling 695, it's slow here on the west side. The worst congestion, the outer loop at Baltimore National Pike. The average speed 29 miles per hour. Drive times only show a 4-minute delay, though, getting from 795 to 95. Interstate 70 is clear through Ellicott City. There are no problems on Interstate 97 or Route 50 heading into Annapolis. Ashley, Christian.
All right, a lane just for bikers recently popped up in Annapolis, and now all of a sudden it's gone. We're
going to let you know why it was taken down. It was weeks ahead of schedule. That's coming up. Plus, the FBI is expected to wrap up its investigation into Brett Kavanaugh this week. What the president is saying about his Supreme Court nominee, as some lawmakers vow to push forward with the confirmation process.
And a delivery driver is being credited with saving a woman's life. How dropping off a pizza winds up foiling a kidnapping.
Welcome back into Good Morning Maryland. It is 6:13 right now. Some top stories for you. A body that was found in a creek in North Carolina has been positively identified as 6-year-old Maddox Rich. Maddox had autism and was nonverbal. He'd been missing since last month when he and his father went to a park in Gastonia, North Carolina, west of Charlotte. His father says the boy ran off and he could not catch up with him. The creek where Maddox's body was found is about a mile away from that park. New updates in that explosion of a car over the weekend in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Authorities have identified the 3 victims as 27-year-old Jacob Schmoyer, his son Jonathan, who was just 2 years old, and another man, 66-year-old David Hallman. People who live in that neighborhood say the explosion shook their homes and cars, shattering windows, leaving debris everywhere. Investigators are still trying to figure out what led to or triggered the explosion, but they are calling it a criminal incident, and they believe the person responsible for it died in the blast. The White House has given the FBI permission to widen its scope for an investigation into U.S. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
3 women have accused him of sexual misconduct. The FBI was originally only allowed to interview 4 people. Now it can interview whoever it wants. Officials have already spoke with Deborah Ramirez, that's the second accuser, but not Christine Blasey Ford, who first came forward and testified against Kavanaugh last week. Both women say drinking played a role in the alleged incidents. While some people say Kavanaugh was not a sloppy drunk, others say he did drink underage.
You can't be mad or not vote for someone for a Supreme Court justice because they drank in high school, but he's lying that he did it legally.
The FBI investigation has to be completed by Friday.
6:15 right now. A judge has found that Governor Larry Hogan's campaign can use an apple in its logo to show support from teachers. Here's the image that was in question. A judge in Montgomery County Circuit Court denied the Maryland State Education Association's request for an injunction against Hogan's campaign. Attorneys for the teachers union say they will continue to try and defend that trademark. The controversial former director of the FBI, James Comey, will be in our area today. Comey is kicking off this year's Baltimore Speaker Series at Stevenson University. He was appointed the FBI director in 2013 by President Obama, then fired last year by President Trump. His presentation starts at 8 o'clock tonight. It'll be followed by Q&A with the audience. This series features 7 speakers, including Comey, Jeb Bush, Jay Leno, and several more. For tickets, visit www.baltimorespeakers.org.
6:16, incumbent Democratic Congressman Elijah Cummings is a heavy favorite to keep his seat in Maryland's 7th Congressional District. Today, Cummings and Senator Ben Cardin will release a report about how people in Maryland with pre-existing conditions could be impacted by the Trump administration's actions against the Affordable Care Act. They're holding a news conference this morning at the University of Maryland Medical Center's Midtown campus in Baltimore.
6:17 right now. There's new bike lanes in Annapolis. They're going to go away sooner than expected.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a month-long experiment, but Mayor Gavin Buckley has decided to end it 2 weeks early. Some merchants on Main Street were upset when the lanes were added, but not all were totally against the change.
I'm glad he tried it out. I think it wasn't quite as thought out as it could have been, and it's the wrong time of the year, but I'm glad he's willing to make changes in the city.
The mayor says the money spent on the project will not go to waste. The sidewalks, extensions, chairs, tables, and construction material will be stored away and used for other projects in the future. Lynette?
All right, Ashley, let's start you out with a look at the visibility issues that we have this morning. So we do have some patchy fog in some spots, mainly around Frederick County this morning. And if you're going to cross the border into Pennsylvania, you're going to be dealing with some patchy fog out there as well. So around Thurmont, we can see this around Kriegerstown this morning, around Lewistown as well. And again, the worst of it is going to be in Pennsylvania. Look what's happening around Lewistown. We can see this around Providence as well. This is going to be the name of the game for them around Coatesville. So crossing the border into Pennsylvania, just know there is some dense fog across that area. Dew points. Plenty of moisture at the low levels, and that's why some areas definitely dealing with that patchy fog this morning. 66 for dew point in Middle River, and these numbers will continue to go up as we go into the afternoon. So before it's all said and done, we'll have dew points in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees once again. Temperatures this morning are above average. Look at the 68 degrees in Dundalk. We should be at 51 degrees now for this time of the year. So these temperatures well above average, and will stay that way even as we go into the afternoon. So at 64 in Lisbon right now, Sykesville's coming at 64, Manchester 65 in Odenton, and then across the Eastern Shore, plenty of 64s from Cecilton down through Goldsboro, Barclay, Centerville coming in. 68 degrees in St. Michael's and Oxford as well. Trapp is right around 66. Now, the satellite and radar not picking up on a whole lot here in Maryland. The bulk of the activity is more off to the north, and that's pretty much where it will stay as we go into the afternoon. With that said, can't rule out the chance for maybe isolated shower thunderstorm as we go into the afternoon, more scattered in nature as well. Let's head out to the west, where we're still watching Tropical Depression Rosa dump plenty of rain in northern Mexico, and you can see this moving in across the Four Corners as well. We'll continue to surge across the desert southwest there. So this is what we have. High pressure still in control of our weather. That southwesterly flow, that's what we're going to be dealing with as we go throughout the day. That's going to pump in the heat and the moisture, and that's why we're going to be dealing with the humidity. Once again, isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms. The big activity more off to the north, but can't rule that out as we go into the afternoon. But we will have sunshine before the clouds move in, so increasing clouds is what I'm going to call it. Here's the severe weather risk for today. We are in a marginal risk, a level 1 on a scale of 1 to 5. Here's a 7-day forecast for you as temperatures stay warm right into Thursday. Let's get a check of the traffic now with Lauren.
There's a breaking traffic alert here on 890.